love our children. So I'm going to start off with just a few kind of updates, announcements, if that's okay. Bless you. So we talked last week about this mass communication app called Slack. This week I got a lot of email addresses and added a lot of people to it. If you can't see that or you're having problems with it, let me know and we'll get that addressed this week. If you have not signed up for it and you want to, in the back at our giving station there are note cards. You can simply write your email address. It communicates via an app, but you have to sign up with an email address. So if you're not signed up, you want to be a part of the communications, give us your email address on a note card, throw it in the giving thing, and I'll add you this week. This is something we're going to try out and see if it works. The feedback so far has been positive for people who are on it. We've had one person at least that's having a hard time getting it on the phone, so we'll just have to work through some kinks. We do have our giving station in the back. We don't pass an offering bucket. If you've got this on your heart to give, we welcome that. We thank you for that. We need that. But our giving station's in the back. Be sure to put your name on the envelope if you're putting cash so you can get a tax write-off later next year. Also, someone suggested we need a suggestion box. So for right now, what we're thinking is there's a stack of note cards back there. You can either put your email address if you want to be added to Slack, or if you have a suggestion, criticism, whatever, write it on there, throw it in the giving box, and that way we'll kind of get all that at one time. Does that make sense? So I want to share one thing. You know, the first week we met, we openly said we don't have a name for a church. We don't know what we're going to be called. We're operating under a ministry called Follow Him With Us right now, which is our counseling ministry, but long term we will have an established church name. So I've gotten a lot of feedback, and we know it's going to be something around the harvest. We keep getting that scripture showing up over and over. People were sending it to us this week. So how many of you guys know Andy Sipperly? Anybody know Andy Sipperly? So you got to truly know Andy Sipperly to understand this. But he was here the first week. He lives in Texas. He was here. And he texted me on Monday and he said, within 10 seconds of you saying the harvest and we need a church name, I had it. You want to go international. You're on a farm. It's about a harvest. International Harvesters. I'm not saying we're landing on it, but no one has disagreed with it yet.
You could say Harvest International.
Yeah.
And switch that.
Yeah. I think that's already a ministry name.
Can't be taking that.
Another thing I want to share with you, God's put on our heart is, we're still developing ideas of how we're going to serve our community. One thing that was briefly discussed when a couple of us got together, God's really just been working on me. I want to say burden, but burden in a good way. Jason's okay if I give you an example of Rockford. So Jason in a previous job had with AT&T had to service a smaller community in Rockford. It was a community of mobile homes, a lot of poverty, a lot of issues, I guess is the way to say. And that place has been on his heart. My ultimate goal, and this is subject to change, we don't know where God's going to take this, but I would love to go into a community like that. There's a leader in that community. There's a leader in every community. I don't care how poor, how broken, there is a leader, good or bad. I want to go into a community like that and identify who that leader is. And this is going to take time. It takes time to build trust. It takes time for them because the first maybe year you're there, they're going to be like, what are you doing here? What's your agenda? I want to make it clear the agenda is not to get them there. The agenda is to develop a relationship with that leader or whoever it is, whoever God shows us, and develop that leader to then disciple his or her community. How powerful would that be? Because that's what the gospel was all about. It wasn't about growing this room or building a bigger building, and we're going to really fight hard to stay to those roots. And I think this is a way we can do it. Let's take it a step further. Let's say we spend, I'm making up things, let's say we spend 2 or 3 years developing this. And then we identify a place in Moore City we want to go. Now we take that leader with us. And we let him develop the leader in the next place. That's true discipleship. And that's what God's putting on my heart. So we need feedback though. We need your suggestions. Some of this is coming from a ministry that a lot of us have participated in the Dominican Republic. Last summer, we went to the Dominican Republic. How many were in there? 20 of us? The guy that's in the Dominican that's there full-time spends time in these communities doing something very similar to this. So he had spent time building relationships in this community, and he found the leader. Guess what? The leader owned a rooster fighting ring and had a liquor store. That's the leader of the community. At the beginning of the week while we're there, because of the relationships the people that are there every day had built, one of our teams got to go into this cockfighting ring and pray with the guy. And he asked for prayer for his son. His son's a normal functioning person in society, and the next thing you know, he's mentally ill in the hospital within a few days. All week, that team, that small team of 4 or 5, prayed about that son who was in the hospital. On the final day, they invited our entire team to come to that ring. Get in the ring and worship God and pray over the Father. While we were doing that, a car shows up and the son gets out of the car. See, he wasn't there for us to pray over him in the moment, but our prayers transcended the distance, and he was healed in the hospital and he showed up. Just this last week, so that was last summer, almost a year ago, just this last week I saw a picture come up on Facebook, and guess what they're doing in the middle of a rooster fighting ring? They're holding church. That's what the gospel's about, and we ought to be able to do that in our community. Does that make sense? So I just want you guys to we're going to keep you updated and try to communicate as much as possible. I don't know where God's going to take this, but this is what's stirring. 2 quick announcements, and then we'll get into the main message. For those that weren't here last week, didn't hear the announcement, we're going to have a Seder dinner on April 23rd. That's a Tuesday. That's a week from this Tuesday. So it's the Tuesday after Easter. Next Sunday's Easter. It'll be the next Tuesday at 6:15. There is a charge for that. It's $15. That covers your food. Yes, ma'am.
What is the food?
Well, we're going to have, great question, what's the food? We're going to have a traditional Seder representative dinner, which is the Passover meal, and if you want more data on that, I'm going to have to ask Jeff or Sue to come up and explain it. But we'll have different things on a plate to identify what a Seder meal would have been, and then we're going to have a regular meal. Our regular meal will be chicken, it's brown bag, it's catering it in. It's chicken and green beans and mashed potatoes. No rolls, because there can be no yeast, right? No croutons in the salad, all that stuff. So on the Slack app, I sent a link where you can go sign up and pay to get a ticket to be here. You can pay the night of, but it helps us if we know, because I got to know by Monday of that week how many people to tell Brown Bag to provide food for. So if you're not on Slack, if you're having a problem with Slack, text me, text Wendy, we'll send you the link via text. Go ahead, Sue.
I was just going to say that Seder is just the Last Supper.
Yeah.
And we read about, can you all hear me? The Seder is the Last Supper that Jesus was doing the night before he was crucified. Okay. So it is what he would have done just before he went to the cross.
Thank you. She can explain it a lot better than me. Been to 2 and I still can't explain it. Also, last week I announced that on the 28th, which would be 2 weeks from today, we're going to do a spiritual gifts test. I think we're going to shift that to May 5th. So instead of celebrating Cinco de Mayo, you can come here and learn about your spiritual gifts.
Filled with the Spirit.
Yeah. I'm holding back